Okay, good morning, boys and girls, seventh graders. This is Mr. K, your art teacher, welcoming you to a Friday, another day of distance learning, another week of distance learning under our belts, and there's only literally days remaining. I'm wishing you well, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everybody gets in all their missing assignments to me. Okay, so speaking of assignments, here's one of my nature drawings that I had snapped a picture of yesterday and posted to Google Classroom. Okay, this is the beloved almost dead birch tree from my backyard. And what I had forgotten about this week, and I apologize for this, I had forgotten that I wouldn't have a great opportunity to get outside on Thursday or today because I had forgotten that these are my treatment days. I've been in treatment for quite a while now. Some of you know, probably most of you know, I'm fighting off a rare cancer associated autoimmune disease, and sometimes my days are interrupted with infusion treatments. So this week is one of those times. And so I don't have a great opportunity to get outside today, as I didn't have a great opportunity yesterday either. Okay, because the treatments take a little while, and then they sort of wipe you out too. Okay, so I'm off to treatments today, and so I just wanted to share with you the completed version from the other day. And I also have to tell you, I cheated a little bit. I told you guys I was going to go, 25 minutes. I probably went like maybe a half hour to 40 minutes because I just got so into it. Okay, so I just wanted to explain myself real quick. Okay, so again, I know you're probably dancing through the raindrops a little bit with the weather. It's been iffy these past couple of days. So just do the best you can. And I posted to Google Classroom that if you can't get outside to, do your sketch, I certainly understand. That's why I gave you the option of maybe setting up one of those still life arrangements that we had discussed. Or, maybe you have the luxury of having a front porch where you could work, draw something from nature on the front porch or the back porch while it's raining, okay? Or, maybe you'll catch a dry spell. But I just wanted to give you a few little tidbits of information here, okay? So, you remember the other day I had just started this sketch roughly, and I told you, starting from the base, and I was literally branching it out, and I said that when you branch it out, just make sure that the ends of the branches taper, and I said that it reminded me of like the bony Grim Reaper hands. So there's evidence of it right there. And I tried to follow the branches as best I could. I did adapt and modify a little bit because, drawing every single branch as it twists and turns in nature is kind of hard to do. So I just kind of adapted and put it together as best I could. But I mentioned the tree is, should I call it, mostly dead. I mean, there's still a little bit of life to it because there were these clumps, these clusters of leaves in spots, and I just kind of moved my pencil in kind of like a cloud-like formation. And if I felt like there was too much graphite underneath, I would take my eraser and kind of drag away some of that graphite, because as of this week, most of the blossoms have turned to green foliage. Okay, so these little clusters, most of these clusters are green. There's still maybe a little bit of white peeking through, but I just tried to simulate and represent a cluster of leaves here and there. And what I did was, when I decided to add a few little details within that cluster. I just moved my pencil around and created these little squiggle type movements, almost like they, look like the aforementioned clouds. Okay, for me to sit there and draw every single leaf would take way more time than I want you guys to dedicate. And once more, we had mentioned the Impressionists, and they just got down on paper an impression of the overall item or object or piece of nature that they were illustrating or painting. Okay, now I failed to mention this, though the detail of the picture was somewhat impressionistic, the colors were mind-blowing. They were just so bright and colorful and wonderful, and that's why people love impressionistic art. Okay, so another thing I did was I drew a bit of the landscape surrounding the tree, and I tried to consider all the lights and darks. Okay, so these are majestic pine trees that my dad had planted going down the hill probably 50 years ago. And so these shaggy branches that you see falling in and amongst the tree trunks are literally heavy pine branches. So these are huge pine trees, and they grow up so tall you can't even see them. They're off the page. And I was looking at them when I was drawing, and I was trying to estimate a height on them, and I would say that they're, no lie, like 80 feet in the air. They're crazy tall, and God forbid one of them ever comes down in a storm. I don't think that'll happen because we've had many bad storms. But I hope they're far enough away from my house that, they won't do crazy damage. These guys down the hill, I couldn't see a lot of their detail. So that's why they're totally dark as they go down the hill. I lose many details on the trunk. These guys up a little closer, I could see a little bit of the bark, so I left, the one side kind of like sunlit. So there's a little more, I guess, perspective to them. Okay, and then this collection of leaves here is another tree from the hillside, kind of sneaking into our picture here. And so I drew larger clusters of leaves there because it's a much healthier tree. Okay, and this over here, this is the edge of my yard, but down a little further, this is my neighbor's property, and this was my neighbor Ed's garden. He had passed away a few years ago. His widow still lives in the home. It's no longer a garden, but this is the flat area upon which he would make his garden every year, and it was a heck of a garden. He loved to garden and loved to fish, and he was just a neat guy, so I miss him. And then all these little squiggles I'm putting in here, these are just impressions of bushes and trees and whatnot that are on Ed's property, and they're kind of far away, so you don't need to place a lot of detail there because the main focus of the drawing here is the tree. And one last thing I'm going to mention, because I got to get rolling here pretty soon, we're almost at the 10-minute mark, is this. What was I going to say? Oh, I was able to put some imperfections in the bark as I saw them. This is literally one of those animal holes that you would see in a tree, and the chipmunks go in there and they hide away nuts and berries and whatnot. So, as you can see, I'm still putzing with the drawing because, as Leonardo da Vinci would say, artwork is never finished. It's only abandoned. So, I might have put 5 more minutes in here, and I like it. And I hope you like yours too. And don't forget to sign your piece. So here's the deal for the rest of the day. You pick out the nature drawing or the still life that you enjoy the most, and hopefully you spend 20 minutes on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and turn in your favorite piece by 3 o'clock today. And also look around and double check, make sure you don't owe me any missing assignments, because I put a little post up there last evening on the Google Classroom that we are literally days away from grades being closed out, and I've got to make the final transfer from Google Classroom to Skyward, and I don't want you to have zeros because of missing artistic grades. All right, boys and girls, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy drawing. Be good to each other. Be kind. Be helpful. Make somebody smile today, and remember, that'll make you feel good when you do good and nice things for others. Okay? All right. Take care now. Happy drawing. Bye-bye.